Disclaimer, just because I myself am moving from Minewind does not mean that my style of content will stop, and neither does it mean that I will never log on again. Me moving from Minewind is just a personal choice, and I'll go into the reasons why later in this video. Minewind. I first logged in to Minewind era approximately 3 years ago at the time of this video going up. I can't say I was always with this server during these years, but I would always come back to it. I have always been an avid Hypixel player. So much so that I've actually become level 110 on the Hypixel server. I have pretty much hopped from Hypixel to Minewind, back to Hypixel, back to Minewind, ever since I first discovered Minewind in early 2018. So I recently looked through my Minecraft screenshots folder. Between the many Hypixel screenshots, I found so many Minecraft memories from my Minewind journey. Today, we'll go through the good, the bad, and the ugly truth of my Minewind past. And as we do, I hope you'll see why it actually, no joke at all, kind of hurts me to see Minewind in the state that it is. Because there's this server that's been so great for so many years, been such a part of my life, and it's just going down the drain. So, yeah. My first day. This right here is my first screenshot taken on Minewind, and it was taken March 21st of 2018. As you can see, it's just me sitting in a boat with my always partner in crime Fuzzy. He is on his old account, and I'm in starter gear. I remember he had starter gear too, but he lost it somehow. I remember Minewind back then being so full of wonder and excitement. There were so many special items with special abilities, and new ones were being released regularly. It was all around just a really good time. I would compare my experience on the server back then to that of a child in a candy store. There was so much to see and try, and back then it all looked so cool and great, and it was almost too much. Since then, I've tried everything. I've literally done everything you can possibly do on Minewind. Of course, I'm missing some vanilla things. I haven't done everything you can do in Minecraft. That's just about impossible. But, you know, I'd much rather just do it on a different server. Like, Minewind has gotten stale. With the lack of new things being added, as well as the hacker problem, there are so many people who use X-Ray, it's ridiculous. It's just, I'd rather carry it on somewhere else. My first, well, just like many players do as they first join Minewind, my first wealth was actually gained by lying, stealing, and scamming. The images that I'm showing you right now are actually ones I sent to Fuzzy about how I actually got a base that I got from a player by the name of Bronze Elite and what we could actually gain from raiding it. Between Fuzzy and I, we didn't get too much. I think we only really profited the 9 swords, as well as some far below god tier armor. My first year or so on Minewind, I actually remember trying my hardest, with Fuzzy by my side, to become one of the most hated players on the entire server. I gotta say, back then it was super fun, and we did not really know how the server worked. It was branded as Anarchy, so we were going to play it as such. I remember having so much fun back then. My first base. After many failed smaller bases, this base, simply referred to as A, was the first major base Fuzzy and I had. It lasted all of 3 months before it was nuked by a player by the name of Fractalbro. He no longer shows up when you try and pull up his profile, but many old players have to know his name. He would grief so many noobs back in the day. Like, let me tell you, there were entire underground noob hate clubs for this man. His numbers were astronomical. He was griefing about a base a day for a couple weeks on end. Here are the ruins of Fuzzy's old base. It was on the outskirts of the actual town, so he was able to self-grief before Fractalbro could get to it. But I remember this incident with Fractalbro being the first time that Fuzzy and I actually left Minewind for a bit. That doesn't mean that we didn't come back stronger and smarter than ever, but we did leave for a month. The rest of my Minewind journey just kind of runs together, to be honest. It's more of the same. I would go to a base, have it griefed, go to another base, have that one griefed, and keep moving on until I got to the one that I'm at now. I remember every time one of these bases would end up being griefed, we'd take a small break from Minewind, but when we came back, we'd build again and become richer in the process. Fuzzy and I have been at the base that we're at now since early 2019. I've been planning to make a tour on it actually, but I've been waiting for it to be finished. But something I've kind of realized, I don't believe it's ever going to be finished, because I'm always going to have something else to add to it. But that's enough about my history. Let's just see why I would even consider moving from a server that I have so much history with. Minewind has 3 major problems, all of which need to be fixed before it can reach its full potential. The first of these problems is seasonal events, and I actually have 2 different ways of fixing this problem. Without seasonal events, the Minewind economy is left in shambles. The seasonal event items are now so rare that people no longer sell them, which leaves a significant part of the player base to not have access to them from the time they log on to the time they quit playing. This not only hurts the old player base who are trying to collect all of the items, but it really hurts the new players coming in, because they learn that they can't actually be as rich as the old players no matter how much effort they put in, no matter what they do, and they leave, which I can't blame them for. I'd leave too. It's just a bad situation entirely. My personal hypothesis of what's going to end up happening is that more new players will join, see how the old players have a huge advantage over them with their slash daily and other seasonal event items, leave, and Minewind will slowly die from the lack of new players over the next couple of years. Do I wish this to be the case? Heck no. Do I want seasonal events back? I would literally try hard so much if a Minewind seasonal event came out. Like, I would most likely do nothing else. But I don't think it's gonna happen, and if it doesn't happen, I believe the wealth divide between new and old players is only gonna increase. And over time, I do believe the server will fall to this fate unless something changes. Apart from the economy problem Minewind is facing, there is also a seriously bad anti-cheat problem. With no admin to actually ban players or update the anti-cheat at least, some sub-servers have turned into complete hacker pits. Moon is notoriously bad when it comes to hackers running the server. I myself find it kinda hard to even blame the players who hack, because if it's obvious they'll never get caught no matter how much they hack, can we really blame them for doing so? I honestly can't blame anyone except for the person who runs the anti-cheat, because if you brand a server as anarchy, claim to ban for hacks, and don't actually do so, what do you expect to happen? For the last and admittedly least important problem on this list, there's a lack of new material. New material keeps old players interested in actually playing the server. It's gotten to the point that owning one of literally every single item on the entire server is not that uncommon. I joke around sometimes saying that if Lexi added a trader who sold a Thorns 1 rosebush for 8 stags, I would actually be hyped because that's just something else to put in my collection. And you know what? That's barely an exaggeration. I believe this is the least important problem on this list just because fixing any of the other problems would bring the same effect, which is just making old players happy. By updating the anti-cheat, old players would be happy because it would be more fair on them, or I can't even get into how happy everyone would be if we got seasonal events back. That would be the best. All I'm saying. In conclusion, all I really want to happen is for Minewind to step it up. Even just the tiniest little bit. I miss the server being in its glory days so much, and being in its current state, I really can't see it surviving many more years. Tell Lexi, I doubt you're watching this, but if you are, just give us something. Tell us why there are no updates. Or give us updates. We need anything at this point, as I myself and a lot of other players are losing hope in the Minewind server. For anyone who has any questions whatsoever, here's my actual real Discord. I am dropping it because I had a lot, and I mean a lot of requests to actually drop this, so here you guys go. In unrelated news, I want to thank all of you guys for getting me to 300 subscribers. It's really wild to think about how my channel has gotten this far. Because honestly, I was expecting for maybe myself, my cousin, and like 2 other people to end up watching my videos. So I'm gonna keep making content for you guys, and I hope you keep enjoying it because it's gonna come out for as long as I can possibly make it. I also want to shout out WoolClan and specifically Solar Rescue and Aqua Resc for making this wonderful artwork for me. It is so thoughtful. It's actually my first thumbnail for you guys who don't know. And it looks like they hand drew in parts of it, they edited it up all nice. And it's just really taking me aback that they took that much time out of their day just to make something for me. So yeah, I hope you guys go and check it out, because please do, it's really cool. Okay, I've been rambling for a long time now, so I just want to thank you guys one more time, and grass is green. See ya!